Welcome to the Anxiety Coaches Podcast, a relaxing and informative show where we explore anxiety, panic, and PTSD, sharing how you can overcome them for life.
Aloha! Welcome back to the Anxiety Coaches Podcast. I'm your host and coach, Gina Ryan, and I am so happy to be with you again today as together we can consider the many ways to bring your mind and body back to its natural peace and calm. In today's episode, I'm talking about actually letting contentment wipe out unhappiness and anxiety. I want you to try this because this is something we can access ourselves. So I have a couple of articles that I had been saving. One was from Robert Emmons and one was from Leo Babauta. And I wanted to put something together around those articles. And so I have some ways for you to think about contentment now in your life as a way of accessing your happiness, your peace and calm without changing anything else in your life. We're always so stuck on what do I have to fix? What do I have to change? How can I get to it? Because we're kind of good at that. We're good at doing things, changing things, working. We're good at that. But sometimes the way to be happier and to have more peace and calm is about just letting things be and being okay with what is. So anyway, let's get to it. So if you've been in a bad place in your life, if you are right now, if you're unhappy, if you feel like everything is challenging or difficult or just dark, it's not a good feeling. And we feel like we have to change everything around us, or we have to access more of our resources in order to make something happen so that we can be happier or more peaceful and more calm. It could be around your job, right? A lot of us invest a lot of our happiness quotient comes out of our job, our career, what we do out in the world. It could be your relationship or your relationships. Sometimes it's not one that's not going well, but maybe a couple of them, or things you're just not happy with about other people. It could be yourself, right? Your physical being, your health, your looks, your ability to move in the world, right? It could be your house. Many people struggle with things around their home. They're feeling like they're too cluttered or they don't have enough. It's both ends of the spectrum I see. It could be just habits that you've been wanting to eliminate or habits that you've been wanting to add into your life, and you're frustrated with yourself for not having those happen yet. So we've all been in situations where things were bad. We all have. You are not alone. We have all had our challenges and times where we're feeling pretty dark about it. And sometimes I was really unhappy in my life, and then other times I was happy. And I want you to know that what changed often was not the circumstances, but my mindset, my attitude, my perspective. I learned, especially crawling out of the wormhole, I learned to appreciate what I had, to appreciate what was around me, instead of focusing on the things that I didn't have or the things that I wasn't liking or the things that I wanted to accomplish. I found that I had to be grateful for what was there. I ended up being grateful for my health, for the people who were in my life, for having food, for having a roof over my head. There are people who don't have that. There are people who would trade what they are going through to have what you have. And so we got to look at that. We have to think, this is somebody else's joy. Why am I not enjoying it? And the basic one, I was happy I was alive. I want you to think about that one because this is something we are all sharing in this moment. No matter how challenging your life is or how difficult, we're all alive. We're all sharing that peace. And so we want to make sure that we appreciate that and see it for what it is. It truly is a gift. So if you can learn to develop a different mindset, you can be happy right now without changing anything else. You don't need to wait until you've changed everything and make your life perfect before you turn on your happy light. You have everything you need right now to be happy. So what we do sometimes in our lives is we wait. We have this attitude of waiting for happiness, and it's a never-ending cycle. So let's say you get the better job, right? Or you get accepted into the school you were trying to get into, or you buy the home that you'd been dreaming of, right? And then it isn't long before you start thinking about, when's my next promotion? Geez, my neighbors have this kind of a lawn. Maybe I better get working on the lawn. Or anything that you had been wanting to have, once you have it, you up the ante. There is always something more. So you get the nicer house, and like I said, you start looking at the neighbors' yards or their furnishings or their cars or whatever it is. Or just looking around your own home and seeing all of its faults, all of the things that need changing or that you would like to fix. Whatever it is never ending. We will get what our goal is, what we are striving for, and then we set the goalpost out a little bit more. We're going to do something more. So don't wait for all of those things to come. Maybe you're always going to work on that. That's wonderful. Keep striving, keep pushing goals out and making the world a better place, but be happy along the way. So you can be content right now without any external changes. And I have all kinds of ideas for that, for you to kind of open up inside so that you can see what you have right now and take the joy out of it instead of ignoring it and thinking that you need to get something more. But I would like to have some gratitude for the sponsors that we have here at our show. Ned is with us today. And in a perfect world, what would you like to get done every day? Here we are talking about goals, right? But starting your day with the de-stress blend from Ned could be the first step in making healthy decisions throughout the whole day and help you create a better habit loop. Ned is USDA certified organic, and this is super important because not everybody has this certification. All of Ned's full spectrum hemp oil is extracted from USDA certified organic hemp plants. These products are all science-backed, nature-based solutions that offer an alternative to prescription and over-the-counter drugs. If you'd like to give Ned a try, Anxiety Coaches podcast listeners get 15% off Ned products with code ACP. Visit helloned.com/ACP to get access. That's HELLONED.com/ACP to get 15% off. Thank you, Ned, for sponsoring the show and offering our listeners a natural remedy for some of life's most common health issues. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Check out BetterHelp.com/ACP. You may not be feeling down and out or totally depressed or like you're at a loss, but if your stress is high, if your temper is shorter than usual, or even if you're starting to feel the strain in any of your relationships, you could probably use the chance to unload, and therapy can help. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on the camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours. Unload the stressors and get some unbiased feedback. You'd be pretty surprised at what you might gain from it. See if it's for you. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and the Anxiety Coaches Podcast listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/ACP. That's BETTERHELP.com/ACP. So let's look at some of the ways that we can begin to see our own joy in life, to be content with what is there, and become more happy and reduce our anxiety because we are less stressed. We are not so needing to make huge sweeping changes in our life. Of course, you know, top of my list is always the gratitude journal, so I won't go into it today. We have a lot of different episodes where I talk about the gratitude journal, but this is your heads up if you haven't started it yet. Today's the day. Another thing that you can do is to remember the bad. And I know that sounds counterintuitive, but to be grateful today in your current state of existence, it really is helpful to remember the hard times, the difficult challenges that you once experienced. When you remember how difficult life used to be and how far you have come, you set up a contrast in your mind, and this contrast is fertile ground for gratefulness. I like to do this because I've been through a lot of things, and so I like to keep the fact that I got through these challenges, these difficult times in life, and keep them in my back pocket. I like to carry them with me and remind myself when something's difficult that I've been through things like this before. I know that I come out the other side and that I can do it. You can also come to your senses. This is a good one for all kinds of anxiety, so I want to remind you about it. If we can be in the present moment, we can see what we have, and then we can become more content with it. And so we do that through our senses. We have the ability to touch, to see, to smell, to taste, to hear. And we gain an appreciation of what it means to be human, to be alive, and what an amazing a miracle it is to be alive, to be able to touch something, to be able to see. Think about it. And if we can see this through the lens of gratitude, the human body is not only miraculous, but it is a gift. Another tip that you can do is to use visual reminders, because some of the obstacles to gratefulness are forgetfulness, right? We all forget. This is why I'm always telling you to use sticky notes or whatever you need to have a visual reminder. And the other obstacle is a lack of mindful awareness, right? So the visual reminders can serve as cues, as triggers to thoughts of gratitude. Sometimes we just need to be reminded, and that's what I'm hoping today's episode will do for you, to remind you to be grateful. Oftentimes, the best visual reminders are other people. So that means sometimes what you need in order to remember how grateful you are for your life is to be around other people. But if you need sticky notes, I use them too. So go for those also. You want to watch your language is another idea. Grateful people have a style of using their language that uses it as a gift to the world. They use words such as blessing, blessed, fortune, fortunate, abundance, gratitude. So you don't have to focus on how inherently good you are, but rather on how good things and others are. So what has happened to you today that was good? Where can you say that XYZ was a blessing today? Or this person was such a joy in my life today. I received XYZ and I feel so abundant. It can be something small, but if we can add those words of joy, of gratitude into our vocabulary, we start to want to see more of those things, and our brain, our mind will get to work on it for us. Another one is I want you to think outside the box. If you want to make the most out of any opportunity, you want to flex your gratitude muscles. You want to take a look for new situations and circumstances in your life that you can feel grateful for. So don't just go through your day with your regular old blinders on. Take them off. Live outside the box for a moment. See things you may not have seen before. Pay attention to people you may have not paid attention to before, and see if that doesn't spark your gratitude and then your contentment for life and your ability to be happier. So just in this moment right now, take this moment with me and find something to be grateful for. Think of something in your life right now that's amazing. Better than just okay, it's amazing. Even if everything seems stuck or black and white, there must be one good thing. It might be simple. It might be that you just see some beauty around you nearby, or the fact that you are alive, or that you have the car that you're riding in, or the home that you are living in. You have something to be grateful for. Find something and give thanks for that. Another thing you can do is to find the little things that give you simple joys. So what is it that you need in your life to be happy? So I like to keep my life simple, but I have so many simple things in my life that make me happy. Like going for my walk. It's really important to me, and it makes me so happy. I love looking forward to it. I like doing it. And I love, after I've done it, knowing that I got it done today. It could be spending time with a loved one, reading a book, eating a delicious fresh fruit, or drinking a cup of tea. It can be this simple. These things cost very little. They take very little effort, but they can make us happy. And when we acknowledge that they are making us happy, it's like it's a double win. What happens is we do these things and we pay little or no attention to them, and therefore we miss out on the contentment and the joy. And therefore, we miss out on the happiness and the peace and calm that things are bringing into our life that we are not even acknowledging. Find some little things about yourself that you're happy with. We tend to know the list of criticisms about ourselves. That's pretty long. But what if you turned it around and said to yourself, what do I do right? What am I good at? What's lovable about me? I want you to think those things through. Make a list. Put it in your journal. It's wonderful to do. If it feels weird or it feels funny, like that means you've waited way too long to do this. We all have things that we do right, that we're good at, things that we are lovable about. So make the list. It takes some joy in who you already are. And I want you to do that for the people in your life too. We also have a real easy time of being critical of the people in our lives. But if we can say, what are they good at? What is right about them? And what is lovable about them? It will make our lives that much easier to get along with people. I have so many here. I don't know where to go next. Well, how about looking at your health? Because this is a big one with anxious people. So much of our current cultural unhealthiness comes from not being happy. And that is because we eat junk food to give ourselves comfort instead of making a list about what we love about ourselves and others. We eat junk food to give ourselves comfort and relieve stress. We don't exercise because we think we can't. We're hard on ourselves. I'm not in good enough shape. I don't want to put a bathing suit on and go swimming, or I don't want to wear my walking clothes because I look too big or small, whichever end of the spectrum you are concerned about. We don't do the things that are good for us because we're worried about other things. We think we can't do it. We think someone else is going to say something about it. We eat junk food to give ourselves comfort. And we stay glued to our screens because we think we're going to miss something important. When you realize that you aren't missing anything, if you turn your phone off and stick it in your bag, or you turn the computer screen off, you aren't missing anything, and that you don't need junk food to make you feel happy in that moment. There are other things you can do to relieve your stress, and that you are good enough to exercise, and that you look perfect just the way you are to go out there and show the world that you are taking care of your body. And then, step by step, you will slowly begin to take care of your health. I hope this has been helpful for you, and that you will take some of the things that I talked about and try them out. I hope that today you have a shift in your perspective on your life and can find some more contentment. Before I read today's quote, I was wondering if you prefer the show without ads, or perhaps you might like to have access to the entire back catalog of over 600 episodes. Maybe you'd like some bonus meditation episodes. All of that and more are available for $5 a month with our premium Supercast membership. Go to anxietycoaches.supercast.com and join us ad-free today. The link will be in the show notes. And now for today's quote. Be content with what you have. Rejoice in the way things are. When you realize there is nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you. And that's from Lao Tzu. I'll be back in a few more days with another podcast. Until then, be well and aloha.
Thanks so much for joining us for today's episode of the Anxiety Coaches Podcast. Find more information at theanxietycoachespodcast.com.